The snow fell soft that morning, the kind that hushes the world and makes even the cruelest sounds fade to whispers. In a narrow valley at the foot of the Bitterroot Mountains, a wagon rolled slow through the frost, creaking like an old man's bones. Inside sat a girl, no more than 20, her wrists bound loosely with rope, her eyes fixed on the white horizon. Her name was Clara May, and her family had sold her. Not for gold. Not even for land. For food, a week's worth of dried meat, flour, and salt. She didst cry when her father turned his face away or when her brothers refused to meet her gaze. She had long learned that tears never bought mercy. The man who'd bought her, a trader named Rogan, was hauling her up the mountain to sell again, this time to a camp rumored to pay good for strong hands and quiet mouths. Clara had both, except for her leg. The left one dragged when she walked, stiff from an accident when she was 9. The village called her lame. Her family called her burden. And now, she was cargo. But the mountains have a strange way of deciding who lives and who changes. By noon, the snow turned to ice. The horse stumbled on a rocky pass, snapping a shaft of the wagon. Rogan cursed, kicked the snow, and went to fetch a fallen branch for repair. But the mountain had other plans. The slope above gave way, a low rumble, then an avalanche of white thundered down. Clara barely had time to lift her arms before the world turned blind. When she woke, the wagon was gone. The horse was gone. Rogan was gone. Only silence, snow, and her own heartbeat. Clara tried to move, but her left leg screamed with pain. She dragged herself beneath a pine, hugging her shawl tight. Hours passed. The wind grew cruel. She thought she saw faces in the snow, her mother, her little brother, but they were only ghosts in her distance. By the time dusk came, she whispered a prayer she barely remembered, something about mercy and finding peace. She closed her eyes. That's when she heard boots crunching on snow. The man who found her was not a ghost but looked close enough to one, tall, bearded, wrapped in a fur coat, with ice the color of storm water. Silas Boone, the people in the valley called him, the Mountain Man. He lived alone past the timberline, where only eagles dared to go. Some said he was mad, others said he was a killer who'd fled the law. But Clara saw something different the moment he lifted her from the snow, something that frightened her more than the cold. Kindness. Easy now, he said, his voice gravelly but gentle. You'll have frozen, good. She wanted to tell him to leave her, that she wasn't worth saving. But her lips were numb, and he'd already carried her over his shoulder like she weighed no more than a child. He took her to a small cabin hidden among spruces, with smoke curling from a stone chimney. Inside, the air smelt of pine sap and bread. He laid her near the fire, wrapped her in blankets, and